Love doesn't always announce itself with grand gestures or dramatic words. Sometimes it happens quietly, in the pauses, in the glances, in the moments that seem ordinary until you look closer. When a man is truly falling for you, he doesn't always say it right away. Instead, his feelings slip through in silent ways. Small details, unconscious behaviors, and subtle changes in how he moves around you. These are the whispers of affection that speak louder than any confession ever could. Most people expect love to be loud, filled with bold declarations and obvious signals, but real connection often grows in the soft spaces between words. It's in how he listens to you without interrupting, how his energy changes when you enter the room, or how his eyes find you even in a crowd. Those moments might seem simple, yet they carry the weight of something deep and genuine. Because when a man begins to care, everything about him starts to shift, not out of choice, but out of instinct. His actions start to tell a story long before his words do. You'll see it in the way he remembers the smallest details about your life, the way he mirrors your movements without realizing it, or how his friends start to know about you even before you've met them. It's not about performance. It's about presence. His world slowly starts to include you, not because he's trying to make it happen, but because it feels natural that way. What's beautiful about these silent ways is their honesty. There's no pressure, no pretension, just raw, unfiltered emotion finding its place in simple gestures. He might check your social media quietly, not to invade your space, but because he misses you. He might act protective in small ways, not to control, but to care. He might grow nervous around you, not because he's unsure of himself, but because he knows you matter more than he expected. Every man expresses love differently, but one truth remains universal. When it's real, it's visible, even in silence. The way he listens, the way he looks at you, the way he behaves when you're not around. These are all clues his heart leaves behind. You don't need to ask him how he feels. Sometimes, you just need to watch. Because love, at its truest, doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it just lingers, in the look of his eyes, in the softness of his tone, and in the quiet ways he tries to make sure you're okay. These 15 signs aren't just behaviors. They're reflections of genuine affection taking root. Each one is a glimpse into a heart learning how to love, quietly, sincerely, and without the need for words. Because when a man is truly falling for you, silence isn't emptiness, it's emotion finding its voice. His eyes say what his words don't. 300 words. Sometimes the truest emotions aren't spoken, they're seen. When a man is falling for you, his eyes become the first language of his heart. You might notice how his gaze lingers a little longer than it should, how it softens when he looks at you, or how it quietly searches your face even when there's no conversation happening. That's because his emotions are trying to find a way out, and his eyes are doing the speaking. His lips can't manage yet. There's a certain tenderness in how he looks at you, like you've become his calm in a noisy world. Even in a crowded room, his eyes will instinctively find you, anchoring to your presence. It's not about physical attraction alone. It's an unspoken recognition. His soul knows yours, and it shows in the way he looks at you with warmth, curiosity, and sometimes even vulnerability. That's the beauty of silent affection. It doesn't demand attention, it simply exists. When you're speaking, he listens with his eyes, absorbing every word, every pause, every small expression you make. He might not interrupt or say much, but that gaze of his tells you he's present, deeply tuned in. And when something makes you sad, his eyes reflect a quiet ache, as if he wishes he could take that pain away. Eyes don't lie. They reveal what pride, fear, or hesitation might try to hide. So when his eyes soften, linger, or light up around you, understand this. Love doesn't always announce itself with words. Sometimes it's found in the silent, story told through a single look that says everything he's too afraid to admit aloud. 2. He remembers the smallest details about you. 300 words. When a man is truly falling for you, it's not the grand gestures that give him away. It's the tiny things he remembers without even trying. He may not say, "I love you," yet, but he'll recall how you like your coffee, the story behind your favorite song, or the way you twirl your hair when you're deep in thought. Those details may seem small, but to him, they're pieces of you, fragments he quietly collects because they matter. Love makes the mind attentive. When someone is emotionally invested, their brain naturally prioritizes information connected to that person. That's why he remembers things others overlook. Maybe he brings up something you mentioned once, months ago, like the name of your childhood pet, or how you hate the sound of ticking clocks. These moments show he's listening, not just hearing. He's paying attention because you've become meaningful to him. Even in casual conversation, he might surprise you, referencing an old joke you thought he'd forgotten, or noticing when your tone changes slightly. That's emotional awareness in action. He's tuned to you, not because he's trying to impress you, but because he genuinely cares about how you feel. This kind of memory isn't rehearsed. It's natural, spontaneous, and deeply human. When a man remembers the smallest details about you, he's telling you without words, "You matter to me. I see you." And in a world full of distractions, being seen that deeply is one of the rarest, quietest signs of love there is. His energy shifts. When you're around, 300 words. You can sense it before he even says a word. The air subtly changes when you enter the room. That's because energy doesn't lie. When a man is falling for you, his entire presence reacts to yours in ways he can't fully control. His posture straightens, his tone softens, or maybe he suddenly becomes more animated and alive. It's as if his body and spirit know something his mind is still trying to figure out. At first, you might think it's coincidence, the way he seems lighter when you're near, or how he unconsciously mirrors your mood. But the truth is, emotions carry frequency, and when someone's heart connects to yours, their energy naturally aligns with it. He may become more protective, attentive, or even slightly nervous, not because he's unsure of himself, but because your presence affects him on a level deeper than words. Pay attention to the small cues, how his laughter sounds more genuine when you're part of the conversation, or how he instinctively moves closer without realizing. Even in silence, there's a pull, an invisible current that makes him more aware of everything. His words, his gestures, even his breathing. You can often feel that shift, the warmth in his eyes, the change in atmosphere, the way time seems to slow for a moment. That's not your imagination, it's emotional chemistry. His energy rises, softens, and sometimes even trembles slightly around you because his heart is quietly trying to match yours. So when you notice that gentle shift, that mix of calm and electricity, understand this, it's not just attraction. It's the silent vibration of connection, the kind that says, "Something in me wakes up when you're near." He listens more than he speaks. 300 words. When a man is falling for you, his silence isn't distance. It's focus. He listens more than he speaks because every word from you matters to him. In a world where most people are waiting for their turn to talk, he's the rare one who's actually listening, not to reply, not to impress, but to understand. You'll notice how his attention sharpens when you speak. His phone disappears, his eyes stay on you, and even the smallest stories you share seem to hold his full concentration. He remembers what you said, not because he's trying to memorize it, but because it left an impression. He's building a quiet map of who you are, your dreams, your fears, your habits, and the emotions behind your words. When he listens, he absorbs more than information. He feels the energy behind your tone. He can tell when you're tired, even if you say you're fine, or when something's bothering you, even if you laugh it off. That's emotional attunement, and it's one of the clearest signs of affection disguised as empathy. He doesn't interrupt, he lets you finish. Sometimes he only responds with a nod or a soft smile because he knows your words don't need fixing. They just need to be heard. That's how love starts quietly, in the pauses, in the understanding, in the comfort of being listened to without judgment. When a man listens more than he speaks, It's his way of saying, I respect your voice. I want to know your world. Because real interest isn't shown through compliments. It's shown through presence, patience, and the kind of listening that makes you feel like your soul finally has an echo. 6. His friends know about you, even if you've never met them. 300 words. When a man is secretly falling for you, his feelings don't stay confined to his own heart. They begin to spill into his conversations, his thoughts, and eventually into his circle of friends. Without realizing it, he starts mentioning you in small ways. Maybe he brings up something funny you said, tells a story that somehow involves you, or quotes your opinion during a discussion. His friends might not have met you yet, but they know who you are, because you've become part of the world he talks about most. This isn't about bragging or showing off. It's something deeper. When someone truly matters, they become impossible to hide. He might casually say, you know, she mentioned something like that once, or she'd totally love this place. These little moments reveal that he's thinking of you, even when you're not there, that you've quietly woven yourself into his daily thoughts. His friends often notice the change first. They see the way his tone softens when your name comes up, or how quickly he defends you if someone jokes about you. They might even tease him a little, because they can sense it before he admits it himself, that his heart's already chosen someone. When a man's friends know about you, even before you've been introduced, it's not random. It means you've left an impression strong enough to echo through his conversations. Love makes us share what moves us most, and when he speaks of you naturally, without hesitation or agenda, it's one of the purest signs that you've already taken up quiet residence in his heart. He mirrors your actions without realizing. 300 words. When a man begins to fall for you, something fascinating happens. His body starts speaking the language of his heart before his mind even catches up. One of the clearest signs of this is mirroring. He unconsciously copies your gestures, posture, tone, or even your expressions. It's not planned or deliberate. It's instinctive. The body's natural way of saying, I feel connected to you. You might notice it in small ways. When you take a sip of your drink, he does too. When you cross your arms, he adjusts his stance the same way. If you lean in during conversation, he subtly mirrors the movement. These tiny reflections reveal emotional alignment. His subconscious is syncing with yours, creating an invisible rhythm between you. Mirroring happens because attraction builds empathy. When someone feels close to you, their brain starts to mirror your emotions and behaviors as a way of deepening the connection. It's how we show understanding without words. So when he laughs when you laugh, or his tone softens when yours does, it's not just good manners. It's emotional chemistry made visible. Over time, you might even notice him picking up your phrases or small habits. Maybe he starts listening to the same songs you mentioned, or his texting style subtly mirrors yours. It's not imitation, it's resonance. You've become part of his emotional frequency. When someone mirrors you, it's their subconscious whispering, I'm with you, I understand you. And in love, that kind of unspoken harmony means far more than grand gestures ever could. Because true connection isn't about trying. It's about tuning in to someone so naturally that even your movements begin to dance to the same quiet rhythm. He checks your social media quietly, if 300 words. When a man is falling for you but hasn't said it out loud, one of the first places his curiosity leads him is your social media. Not because he's nosy, but because it's his quiet way of staying connected to your world. He'll scroll through your posts, watch your stories, maybe even reread old captions, all while pretending he's just passing time. In reality, he's studying the details of your life that make him feel closer to you. He wants to know how your day was, what made you smile, or what kind of music you've been listening to lately. He pays attention to your mood, the tone of your captions, the songs you share, the subtle expressions in your photos. It's not obsession, it's quiet admiration. Your online presence becomes a digital thread that keeps him tethered to you when you're not around. He may not always like or comment on your posts. In fact, he often won't, because his interest isn't about being seen. It's about seeing you. He's the silent viewer behind the screen, the one who notices the little changes others scroll past. If you suddenly post less, he wonders why. If you seem happy, he feels relief. If you post something emotional, he feels it too. even if he never says a word. This quiet checking isn't just curiosity, it's longing mixed with care. It's his way of saying, I may not be there beside you, but I'm still paying attention. When a man keeps up with your world from afar, it's because a part of him already lives in it, watching, admiring, and hoping that one day he won't have to love you through a screen. He gets protective. In subtle ways, 300 words. When a man is falling for you, his instinct to protect you quietly awakens, not in loud or possessive ways, but through small, thoughtful actions that reveal his care. He might walk on the side of the road closest to traffic, offer his jacket when it's cold, or subtly check that you've made it home safely after a late night. These gestures aren't meant to impress you. They come from a deep, natural urge to keep you safe and comfortable. His protectiveness often shows up in the way he pays attention. He notices when you seem uncomfortable in a conversation, when someone's tone toward you feels off, or when you're carrying more than you should, physically or emotionally. He steps in gently, never trying to take control, just to make things easier for you. It's a quiet kind of chivalry, the kind rooted not in ego, but in empathy. Even in group settings, his focus shifts whenever you're around. He'll position himself where he can see you, not because he doesn't trust others, but because it gives him peace knowing you're okay. And if you're going through something tough, he becomes steady, offering support, solutions, or simply silence when you need it most. This subtle protectiveness isn't about claiming you, it's about caring for you. It's the body's way of saying, your well-being matters to me. You'll feel it in his tone, in his concern, in how he reacts when you're hurt or tired. When a man gets protective in quiet, consistent ways, it's one of the purest signs of genuine affection, love without demand, care without conditions, because real love doesn't announce itself. It shows up, standing just close enough to keep you safe without taking away your freedom. Prong. He notices your moods, instantly. 300 words. When a man is truly falling for you, he becomes emotionally attuned to you in ways that even you might not notice. Before you say a word, he can sense when something's off. A subtle shift in your tone, a different rhythm in your voice, or the quiet in your eyes. It's as if his heart has learned the language of your emotions, translating every small signal you give without needing explanation. You might think you're hiding your feelings well, forcing a smile or brushing off a bad day. But he sees right through it. He knows when you're pretending to be fine, when you're tired but trying to stay cheerful, or when something's weighing on your mind. His awareness doesn't come from guessing, it comes from caring. When someone truly values you, their attention becomes sharper, their empathy deeper. He won't always ask directly, "What's wrong?" Sometimes he'll just adjust, speaking more softly, cracking a joke to lift your spirits, or giving you quiet space if that's what you need. It's in these gentle reactions that his feelings speak the loudest. He reads your emotions, not out of obligation, but because your happiness and peace have started to matter to him more than his own. And when you finally open up, he listens, really listens. There's no judgment, no rush to fix everything, just understanding. That's the kind of connection that goes beyond attraction. It's emotional resonance. When a man notices your moods instantly, it's not coincidence. It's love learning your rhythm, the unspoken heartbeat of connection that says, I see you, I feel you, and even in your silence I understand. 11. He becomes nervous. When you're close, 300 words. When a man is falling for you, his confidence often slips in the moments you're near. Not because he's weak or shy, but because your presence awakens something raw and real inside him. His calm composure fades into small, telltale signs, fidgeting with his hands, adjusting his shirt, stumbling over words, or glancing away too quickly. It's not discomfort, it's emotion overload. You make him feel something he can't quite control. Even the most self-assured man can become a little clumsy when he's around someone who genuinely matters. His heart beats faster, his breathing changes rhythm, and suddenly, ordinary actions, like holding eye contact or forming a sentence, feel monumental. That nervous energy isn't fear, it's admiration colliding with vulnerability. You've shifted from someone he likes to someone he doesn't want to lose. Sometimes he hides it behind humor, or busies himself with distractions, pretending not to care. but his body always gives him away. Maybe his laughter comes a little too quickly, or his voice drops when he talks to you. He's trying to stay in control, yet every fiber of him is alert to your every move. That nervousness is one of the most honest signals of affection. It's not performance, it's instinct. He's not anxious because you intimidate him, but because your nearness feels like standing in the warmth of something real. So when you see him stumble over his words, blush unexpectedly, or avoid your gaze just to catch it again, know this: his nervousness is his heart's confession in disguise. It's love, still unspoken, trembling quietly between awareness and hope, whispering, "Please notice me the way I already notice you." He tries to make you laugh, even on your bad days. 300 words. When a man is falling for you, your emotions start to affect him more deeply than his own. He can't stand seeing you sad, drained, or quiet, so his natural instinct becomes simple, yet powerful: make you smile again. It's not just about being funny. It's about wanting to bring light into your world, even when things feel heavy. You'll notice how he starts using humor as a form of care. Maybe he teases you playfully, tells a random story, or exaggerates something just to make you laugh. Sometimes he says the silliest things, not because he's trying to impress you, but because your laughter feels like a reward. It's his way of saying, if I can make you forget your worries for even a moment, I've done something right. When someone truly cares, your sadness becomes personal to them. He might sense you're struggling even if you haven't said it, and you'll find him trying a little harder that day, sending you something funny, using a softer tone, or finding reasons to see you smile. To him, that small joy in your eyes is proof that you're healing, even if just for a second. It's easy to overlook these gestures because they seem casual. A joke here, a funny text there, but behind them lies a quiet tenderness. He's not trying to distract you, he's trying to lift you. When a man makes you laugh through your pain, he's not entertaining you. He's holding you together in the only way he knows how, because for him, your smile isn't just beautiful. It's a reflection of peace he wants to give you, every single time life tries to take it away. 4. He finds comfort in just your presence. 300 words. When a man is falling for you, your presence becomes his calm in a world that often feels chaotic. He doesn't always need to talk, flirt, or make plans. Sometimes just being near you is enough. You'll notice it in how his energy softens around you, how the tension in his shoulders fades, or how the rhythm of his voice slows when you're together. It's as if your very existence brings him peace. You might find him sitting quietly beside you, not saying much, yet visibly relaxed, like he's finally in a place where he doesn't have to perform or pretend. That's what emotional safety looks like. When a man finds comfort in your presence, it means he feels accepted, not for what he does, but for who he is. Even when life gets heavy, he'll gravitate toward you, not because he expects you to fix things, but because being near you helps him breathe easier. Your presence becomes his quiet refuge, a space where words aren't required and silence doesn't feel empty. He may not always express it directly, but you'll see it in the way he lingers a bit longer before leaving, or how he smiles when you enter the room. This comfort is one of the purest signs of love. It's not built on adrenaline or desire, but on peace and belonging. When a man finds comfort in just your presence, it means you've become his safe place. The person who makes the world feel a little softer, a little slower, and infinitely better. Because love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's simply two souls sitting side by side, saying nothing, yet somehow saying everything. He gets jealous without admitting it. 300 words. When a man is falling for you but hasn't confessed it yet, jealousy becomes one of the emotions he can't fully hide, though he'll try. You'll notice it in the smallest reactions, the brief silence when you mention another guy, the shift in his tone, the way his smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. He might brush it off casually or change the topic, but beneath that calm exterior is a quiet storm of emotion he doesn't know how to express. It's not possessiveness, it's vulnerability. He's not jealous because he wants to control you. He's jealous because he cares, because somewhere deep inside he fears losing something that isn't even his yet. That inner conflict, wanting to appear composed while feeling a surge of protectiveness, is a sure sign that his heart is already involved. Sometimes his jealousy shows up as subtle teasing, light sarcasm, or a sudden withdrawal from the conversation. Other times, he might start comparing himself to the person you mentioned, trying to reassure himself silently that he still stands a chance. He doesn't voice it because he's afraid of overstepping, of exposing feelings you might not be ready to hear. But you'll feel it, that flicker in his energy when another name enters the room. It's not anger, just a quiet ache that says, "I wish I were the one you were talking about." When a man gets jealous without admitting it, it's not immaturity. It's emotion restrained by respect. It means your attention matters to him, your approval affects him, and your absence unsettles him. It's love in disguise, unspoken, uncertain, but deeply sincere, waiting for the courage to turn that silent jealousy into a real confession. His silence speaks the loudest. When you're not around, 300 words. When a man is truly falling for you, his silence becomes more revealing than his words. You notice it in the spaces between, when he's usually talkative but grows distant the moment you're gone. His energy changes. The world feels a little duller to him, though he may never admit it. It's in that quiet, when you're not around, that his heart speaks the loudest. He might tell himself he's fine, that he's busy or distracted, but his thoughts always circle back to you. He replays your last conversation, remembers your laugh, or wonders what you're doing right now. That's what love does. It fills silence with memory. Even when he tries to move on with his day, a part of him stays anchored to where you last were. You may notice his messages come slower, shorter, or more thoughtful when you're apart, because he's holding back emotions he doesn't know how to express. Sometimes he'll appear calm, but the stillness hides the longing. Other times, he'll reach out for no reason, just to bridge the gap your absence left behind. His silence isn't emptiness, it's emotion contained. It's the ache of missing you without permission, the hesitation of wanting to reach out, but not wanting to seem too eager. When you're near, his heart feels understood. When you're gone, the quiet exposes how much he's come to depend on your presence. So when he grows quiet after you leave, don't mistake it for disinterest. That silence is full of everything he can't yet say. The longing, the peace you bring, and the realization that somehow, without warning, his world feels incomplete without you in it.